Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. I'm really excited to have with a special guest tonight, Didi Stewart, who I know through Joe Mulholland. They're good friends, and Joe and I are good friends, and one thing leads to another. And I had a pleasure of listening to some of her beautiful music over the last few weeks, and we put together a compilation of some of the songs that represent a little bit of what she does. But without further ado, this is Didi. How you doing tonight, Didi?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. By the way, I heard recently, I know that I'm going to shock you with this one. I just was talking to a comedian friend of mine who's also got red hair. He told me that ginger people have to have more anesthesia than other people. Have you heard of this thing? They need
I've
more
only,
anesthesia? Have you ever
I've
been under
only
the
had
knife?
it once. And the doctor did not mention it to
He
me.
didn't mention that to you, so you weren't
No,
you were hopefully out of it during surgery. Everything was
I
okay.
was totally out of it, so
Oh,
I
good. Oh,
really
good.
don't.
I just heard that. I thought that was very funny that for some reason redheads need more anesthesia. I know I need a lot of anesthesia, and I'm going to need some after this weekend. Anyway, so I really loved hearing about a lot about how you operate. One of the things I was fascinated with is you don't use, at least these days, you don't use an instrument to compose. You actually do it all in your head. You kind of just hear out the melody, you write it out, you even can figure out most of the chords and everything, and then maybe you do the fine tuning at the piano, and then have someone like Joe help you orchestrate it or whatever, or put on a lead sheet. But that is amazing to me that you can do that. So is that something that just naturally developed over time? You've always been kind of an ear person.
Yeah, I used to sit down at the piano and hammer things out, and
Hmm.
I have a real passion for diners. I love to go and sit in diners. So I go and some of the places I went before the pandemic knew to bring me the entire coffee pot, not just a cup, because they knew I'd be there for hours writing. And
Wow.
I love it. I love the kind of the buzz in the background. And I like to be outdoors. And so I don't
Huh.
have an outdoor piano. I just seem to get more inspiration just having a pad of paper and a pencil in front of me.
Now I know who was it? There's a famous guitarist who would literally write down an idea and throw it in her guitar case, no matter where she was. Like, so do you have ideas that just come at you at the most inopportune moment? You have to figure out a way to capture them, or how do you work?
Yeah, at 4 in the morning, and I learned to keep something near my bed to write down.
Yeah, excellent. So tell me about how you got interested in music in the first place. Were you from a musical family to start?
Not at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents couldn't carry a tune.
Oh, no.
My
Wow.
mother would sing us lullabies, and we'd beg her to stop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but both my brother and I ended up as musicians, strangely, but there had not been
Huh.
any music in the family.
That is interesting. So now, being that as it was, did you get resistance when like, did you decide back in high school you're going to be a musician at that
Oh, I
early age?
decided
Or
long before
long
that.
before that,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. When I had a very dear aunt who died very, very young, and I think I was 5 years old, and she left me all her classical records.
Oh,
So
wow.
maybe it was just the connection with her, but I used to sit there and play these classical pieces endlessly and
Hmm.
memorize them. And
Oh my God.
at that point, when I was just getting so deeply into music, there just wasn't any question to me that that's what I wanted
Wow.
to do.
And your parents were okay with that?
They were fine.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Never,
That's
you know,
great.
my when things got tough in my career, my dad would take me aside and say, "So, what about business school?" But he never, no, they were really supportive. They came to a lot of shows, and I
Yeah.
really didn't get any flack from them at all.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you've done some great things with your music, and we're going to share with some of the people tonight. I think I want to go back to the very beginning of time in another lifetime when, back when in the time when we had MTV was just starting out, I guess, and those kinds of things. And you had a very successful local band that probably had like some of the biggest grossing earnings in the area at the time. Tell us a little bit about that time.
Yeah, well, girls' night out was the most fun you could have legally in a band. We 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 had a blast, and we started off as doing 60s girl group songs, and it was a
Hmm.
big joke to us. We put it together for a one night thing. It was like a super group of all local women, and we were wearing white lipstick and fishnet stockings, and
Wow.
And mini dresses that we gotten from Goodwill, and
Uh-huh.
we looked incredibly strange. And all our friends came, and people were coming to heckle us, but they absolutely loved it. Nobody heckled us, and
Wow.
it was so successful the first night. There was an article in the Globe the next day, and
Mm,
saying it's the best new band in Boston. And we looked at each other and said, "Well, hell, let's do something with this."
I love it. So let's
So
hear this. This is Girls' Night Out, and what's the name of the piece that we're playing, that you
it's
song?
called "Fair of the Heart."
Affair of the Heart. Okay. So let me share my screen here and make sure I share sound. Here we go.
Baby, for far too long, I've been living without you, dreaming about you. Tell me where we went wrong, 'cause I know we can ride it, a piece of excited. Hold tight 'cause I'm on my way. This time I'm coming home to stay. And love, this affair of the heart will last forever. Now that we know nothing can tear us apart. Love so strong will go on and on. Wanted to run away, yeah, my heart was in danger. Love was a stranger, but that was yesterday. Baby, now and forever, we're staying together, hand in hand as the years go by. From strength to strength, from time to time. This affair of the heart will last forever. Now that we know nothing can tear us apart. Love so strong will go on and this affair of the heart will last forever. Now that we know nothing can tear us apart. Love so strong will go on and on. This affair of the heart will last forever. Now that we know nothing can tear us apart. Love so strong will go on and on. This affair of the heart will last forever. Now that we know nothing can tear us apart. Love so strong will go on and on. This affair of the heart will last forever. Now that we know nothing can tear us apart. Love so strong will go on and on.
I love the energy on that. Oh my God. That's
That
just
was
great.
the big hair 80s.
Well, it's funny. I couldn't tell what the whole storyline was. I don't know if it's worth spending some time on that, but it looks like she left at some point and then she came back, and was she looking for an ad in the paper? I wasn't sure what the storyline was there.
Yeah, it was a little hard to follow. I was supposed to be going back to an old childhood home and running
Ah,
away from the band. And the band
mm-hmm.
was following me. And then, whatever I was looking for, I didn't find there. And it's funny
Mm,
because in that house, the director asked me to cry on camera, on cue.
mm.
And I'd never acted, I'd never done anything like that. So I just thought of the saddest thing that I could possibly think of, and the tears rolled down.
Oh my God. Well, unfortunately, it was a little grainy, so we couldn't see the tears of all the hard work you did. But
Yeah, but they
but
were
I
there.
just love the energy. And how did you get this whole video production done? Was that
Uh,
sponsored by?
some director came out of the woodwork. I guess he had seen us, and they were looking to do a video for us. And We did two. We did another one that was a showcase for Filene's. Unfortunately, it was for the swimsuit collection,
Oh,
and they had to have lots of girls in swimsuits. So we edited it down so that you couldn't see that. But this one was I think more fun of the two.
well, I'll tell you, even today, that would be a fun thing to listen to, There's something about that wonderful, fresh, upbeat, that was really very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about how you develop, how things developed over time. So, you were in a band, I assume, and this is like right after high school or college, or what was the timing on this?
Of Girls Night Out?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, no, it wasn't right. We had all been well into our professional careers when
Oh, you
this
are?
band
Okay.
formed.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
was doing different things at the time, and we all gave up our individual things to get together with the band. Um,
yeah.
but we got pretty far. We opened for a lot of people, and we had a real blast on the road.
Mm, that's wonderful. And then how did your trajectory go after that? I know today you're teaching at Berklee, which is
Yeah.
great. And
Well,
what
that,
what were
yeah.
what happened
Well,
between
I
those
I
times?
love those years because I loved the whole pop rock thing and writing for that sort of sound
Oh,
and
yeah.
traveling. But somewhere after the band broke up, I got some invitations to sing with some jazz groups. And I
Ah,
had never sung jazz. That was my mother's music. I didn't know it. And I got on the bandstand with a wonderful drummer named Kenny Hadley, who I will be forever indebted to because
mm.
instead of saying, you stink, you don't know how to sing jazz, he very patiently said, "Do you think you could try singing behind the beat?" Because I was singing everything, I was singing like, it's very clear. Everything was like a rock song because I'd never
Right.
done jazz. And just
Huh.
that suggestion was enough. And I still tell my students when they're worried about doing a jazz assignment, all
Mm,
you do is lay back, you feel it behind the beat. And really, that was all I needed to hear. And I started exploring that. So then there were a number of years where I wouldn't call myself a jazz singer. It was more like jazz cabaret. But
hmm.
I did a lot of cabaret shows, played at the Regatta Bar, at
Oh,
Scullers.
I remember
And
that.
we
Yeah.
would do a lot of theme shows of different
Hmm.
composers. We did a Harold Arlen show, we did Carole King, we did an Aretha Franklin show, Cole Porter.
Nice.
So that was a lot of fun. And by
Hmm.
the time that was winding down, I got the invitation to teach at Berkeley. And then that became a full-time job.
And I know there was a time when there were more piano bars in Boston. I remember there was one at the Copley Place or Copley
Yeah.
Plaza, and so it's a shame to see all those go because the venues for these kinds of opportunities have dwindled to some extent, I believe,
Yeah,
which is
there's still a
unfortunate.
few places. Club
Yeah.
Cafe is still going, and there's
Yes.
a few venues. There's some karaoke style piano bar venues that some of my students I think sing at.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Excellent. Now, speaking about jazz, we have a wonderful, let me see if I can bring this up now. Um, I've got to get out of this mode here. We have a wonderful thing that you did. Let's see. What is it called? Um, I have to find it now. I'm sorry. It was for a movie, I believe, right? You have this beautiful, it's
Yeah,
called Sunsets and Roses.
yeah, it's actually called Red Wine and Roses. It was changed. The music director kindly changed it so that I could retain some of the rights to it. But I don't remember what it was used for. It was either in a movie or in a television show.
Now, interestingly, it says artist is Didi Stewart and the music is by Diane Stewart. Is that also, is your name technically Diane?
That's
So
my
we have,
real name. Yeah.
okay, so let's play this. I have to first share the screen again, of course, so bear with me for a second. Um, and this is just beautiful.
Red wine and sunsets, breezy summer nights. Red wine and sunsets, dreams of sweet delights. Watching the evening sky take on a rosy hue. To the rhythm of the tide, that's all I really wanna do. Red wine and sunsets, come on, take a chance. Candlelight, a misty beach, the
essence of romance. You can be so uncaring, but still I dream of sharing red wine and sunsets with you. Come on, take a chance. Candlelight on misty beach, the essence of romance. You can be so uncaring, but still I dream of sharing red wine and sunsets with you. Red wine and sunsets with you. Red wine and sunsets with you.
What a voice. When did you find out to sing?
Thank you. That's me learning to sing behind the beat.
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, now has this is a song you wrote, true?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
this,
both
has
of
this,
these.
has anyone picked this up? I could see Barbara Streisand singing the
Oh,
song, for
well, that would
example.
be nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just definitely, I mean, it's got such a great range and you sang it so beautifully. It's just, how did you develop that singing voice?
Uh, mostly on my own. I had some lessons right after I started my career. I was singing like Janis Joplin type stuff, and I was losing
Yeah.
my voice every third night. So I went to a voice teacher, and I
Hmm.
had about a year of lessons of just learning how to sing in a more healthy way. Uh,
Mm.
but really, it was just an ongoing process, and that wasn't really too long after Girls' Night Out, that recording.
Oh, wow. And now is vocal teacher someone that was well known back then? Is that a name worth mentioning?
Um, Merrill Shea, wonderful
Oh, okay.
teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still teaches, but he was
Yeah,
really great.
yeah.
He said I was still a rocker when I went to see him, and he said, "Well, I hate the kind of music you sing, but I'll teach you
Oh,
anyway."
wow.
And he was a great teacher.
That is, well, that's very kind of him to do that then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, thanks a lot.
yeah, really. So, let's see. And then I have a wonderful shot of you singing overseas with a friend you
Oh,
met. Um, did you want to talk about this a little bit? This is just a very short thing, but I think it,
this was a complete lark. I was in Greece, in Athens, and walked into this wonderful little piano bar breakfast place. And I just walked in to have breakfast. And the woman who was playing, I thought was really great. Vaya, her name is, and she's done really well. She's doing a lot of upscale piano bars in Athens now. But
hmm,
this was before the pandemic, and I just walked up to her and said hello, which I normally I'm very shy. And I just thought it would be fun
really?
to meet her. I told her I was from Berkeley, and she said, "Oh, you're going to sing with me." Like, what? I just gotten off the plane. I had not slept,
Oh my
uh,
God.
probably for 48 hours. And
Wow.
so she said, "Oh, come on up." And then she found a song that we both knew, and we started to do it. And then people kind of ran into the room with their cell phones and started recording it.
Well, I found this on the web, so I thought I'd play a little bit of it. Actually, it's only about a minute, so is it okay to play this?
Hmm.
When the rain is blowing in your face, and the whole world is on
She has a French kind of look to her, doesn't she? It's
I
got the whole
know,
French
I know.
thing
She's
going
got
there.
the Louise Brooks helmet hair.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, but
Very
if you're ever
nice.
in Athens, look up Via. She's a wonderful musician.
Baya Nazi, is that how you say it?
Yeah, yeah.
Nazi? Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So there's wonderful things out there. In fact, I had looked up, Didi Stewart online and got a bunch of different things, and I came across this fellow, Alan Estes,
Yeah.
and so he had you featured on his show, and there were a couple of different pieces that you sang with him. Let's see, actually, let's see, this one I think is White, I believe. Do you want to give us a little background on that?
Sure. It's written in a diner.
Hmm. Okay.
Remember exactly, somewhere in North Reading, as I recall.
Yeah.
That was for the last album that I did. That would be 2017.
No
The
Love
album
Songs, I think it's called,
No
right?
Love Songs, yeah.
Yes, yes.
And I was just writing, my writing was turning more to topical things without being protest songs. And
Hmm.
it's just, it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's just about, getting off our own case. It's about white supremacy and the
Right.
ridiculousness of it.
Yeah. And here you are performing with Joe. And did he help you at all with the music, or how did you collaborate on it, or he just took your
No,
music and
no,
basically he
this
just
is
played it?
it's
This
my
is your piece. Yeah.
composition, and Joe is always a remarkable accompanist, and we put
Oh,
together a small band for the album, and he played on this one. But
oh,
the
great.
arrangements are very close to what I came up with on piano.
Excellent. Well, here we go.
Excellent. Well, we're talking with Didi Stewart and Joe Mulholland. It's great to have you on the show, and could we get another song?
Sure. This is called White. Here's to you, you sons of privilege, hanging on tight to a mythical dream of imagined power and glory, blind to the truth that you're not so supreme. Wars to end wars manifest destiny. Centuries of slavery, that's some legacy. Why can't we get over ourselves? We're no worse or better than anyone else. It's so sad. All of this might don't make right. Someone tell me what's so great about white. We're all raised with this poison. It's sung on the playground and whispered at school. Vote your fears, and what's it get you? A nation of rubes ruled by liars, thieves, and fools. You say all lives matter, maybe it's true, but that rogue policeman ain't shooting at you. Why can't we get over ourselves? We're no worse or better than anyone else. How's the view from your superior height? Someone tell me what's so great about white. Out with the old, in with the new. Caucasian nation, farewell and adieu. Why can't we get over ourselves? We're no
so great about white?
Beautiful. Fantastic.
Tell me this, how do you how do you sing those long notes? I mean, I've seen you do that a couple of times. What do you tell your students, and how do you learn to do that? That is just amazing.
Breath, it's breath support. It's just
Yeah.
getting, and that's the single hardest thing for any young singer is
Hmm.
getting in enough air and then letting that air flow lightly and steadily. That was something Joe commented on early in our
Mm.
partnership of holding those notes. And
Yeah.
it's just controlling your air, but a lot of singers make the mistake of like pushing on the air and then it's
Ah.
gone before you've got it,
So
before
you have to get a note with as little air as possible and somehow manage that to get to that. So there's a whole art to that. That's incredible.
yeah.
I had Joe give a house concert at my place
Oh,
down here in Windham, Connecticut about 3 months ago. And before he performs, like an hour before he warms up, he's got the most complex warm-up exercise I've ever seen. He wrote it down for me. I'm still working on trying to figure it out. It's not easy. He's really pretty impressive on the piano. So
oh yes, yeah.
yeah, and he's
Joe
of
and I
course
go way back, and
and a great accompanist too.
it,
Yeah.
it was a real lucky day when I met Joe because we've done some of that album was done completely intuitively between the two of us.
Oh
We have
wow.
all the sections of the record that are just out of time and just piano and voice. We're just tuning into each other's wavelength and not even thinking.
I love it. Now, there's one of the song you played for Alan at the end of this episode. Do you remember what it was? I apologize, I don't remember, but should we play it?
Is it oh, I don't remember what it
Well,
was.
let's play it and see what happens. I mean, then you can talk about it after the fact. So let me share the screen again.
Got time for one more song.
Okay, well, I should explain that this is written for, I have many, many friends who have done Kickstarter and
Oh, right.
GoFundMe campaigns. And whereas I think they're wonderful
fun.
things, I think they are also ripe for satire. I didn't have the privilege to be born to wealth. My precious little project won't finance itself. True works of genius don't come free. So if you want to feed a starving artist, please fund me. Me and 20 other people share a downtown loft. Can't swing it all alone 'cause I'm still paying off my useless liberal arts degree. Have pity on a suffering soul. Please fund me. I need your dollars more than you do. You'd only waste it on iPods and iPads and craft beer and cold brew. One lousy grant wouldn't tilt your world from its axis. You can't even deduct it from your taxes. Raoul Mulholland on the keys. months apart. My creative fixation. I've been rejected by Yado McDowell and the Walmart Foundation. Give me a country, a state, retreat to abide in, and play Prince Esterhazy to my Franz Josef Haydn. Won't you please consider backing this budding superstar? Be generous with your Visa and MasterCard, or I will end it all painfully. So if you don't want my death on your conscience, you'll find me.
Oh, what a great ending.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a nice Joe ending there. That's
Very
great.
tasty Joe solo.
Oh my God. Very nice.
Yeah,
So,
the funny thing about that song is that when I was writing it, I was on a bus heading into Honolulu, and
oh,
and I was looking. I had the different. Uh, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Yado McDowell, and I was trying to think of another, a grant sort of thing. And the girl in front of me had a big paper in front of it and said the Walmart Foundation, and she was applying. And I thought, oh my God, there was the most amazing episode of Kismet in my writing
I
career.
love that. That's
It was
great.
right there.
That's hilarious. Okay. Hey, so let's talk about your one of your most recent endeavors. This kind of was inspired by the whole COVID situation. I personally struggled with COVID in March of 2020, had it really bad, so it really hit me hard. So I have a lot of empathy for people that suffered all the other trials and tribulations of dealing with COVID. But you have a great show that you put together. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, actually, it's a comedy.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And it had its genesis right at the beginning of the pandemic, where I was
Mhm.
literally one of the first 1,000 people in Massachusetts to get COVID.
Mm,
And that was before the vaccine. So
yes.
I came home from Berkeley, and I think I had gotten it from a student. It was the one student that showed up that day right before they shut the school down.
Oh no.
And a couple of days later, I knew something was wrong, but nobody knew what that felt like.
Right.
And I got very sick and called my doctor. And
Mm,
I told, they did a test and it came back positive, which was just shocking. This was
mm.
March 2020.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I asked him if I was going to live or die, and he said, I can't tell you. I have
Right.
no idea.
Yeah.
We don't know what this thing is. So I
Mm.
thought, well, if I survive, I'll write a musical about it.
There you go.
I didn't actually think that. I was too
Well,
busy being
I was
sick.
lucky. My doctor gave me prednisone right away, which prevented fluids from getting, developing in my lungs. But I was still in bed for 9 weeks and hospital for 6 days, and
Wow.
it's to this day I'm scared of COVID. I still try to avoid it every way I can. But anyway, this is a multi-featured show. We've got a lot of different things to include. We've got a couple of early versions of it sung by your students,
Yeah.
which I thought maybe we'd play a few of those, and then we have sung by more professionals for the latter part. And so why don't we do this? We'll start with the kind of preview that you had back in was it October, I guess, or when was that? It
Oh,
was sometime
yeah.
the beginning of the semester, right?
Yeah.
So here's the announcement. Do you want to give us any more of a little story around it before I press the button here?
Um, well, which song are you playing to start?
I'm playing the intro one, so this is
Okay. Well,
I
this
think
is
this is
this
introducing Abby, maybe.
I got it. This was I started writing this as soon as I got better, so that would have been around May of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a revenge for having been so sick and the whole situation and wanting to laugh. And it was so dire because we were still in lockdown when I was writing this.
Mm-hmm.
So the opening number was something that director Rini, who you can see on the screen, wanted me to write something much more up-tempo and exciting to start the show. And so I went off on a trip and wrote it, with no piano. But that was quite an experience thinking about trying to make the song the first night of the pandemic when everything was starting to shut down, and the lead character is being held late by her awful bosses. She's not being allowed to go home when everybody's, trying to get home on the subway. So she
Oh,
goes home late and she catches it on the train going home.
oh my
And
God.
she also meets a mysterious stranger who causes all the trouble. And you'll see it in the various characters are all introduced by song in the introduction.
Excellent.
But Didi Stewart was just getting started. She began documenting what was going on in our country, and that became the show you'll see tonight. A show about Abby, a discouraged social worker, Max, a travel nurse, Brianna, an ambitious reporter, Holly, a homeless teenager, and Jake, an outwardly obnoxious MAGA type with a tragic secret.
We meet our heroine as her city is going into lockdown. Kept late by her bullying bosses, Abby is caught up in the panic and chaos of a world gone crazy.
They're locking down the city. There's danger in the air. My three supervisors just don't seem to care. We're finishing the meeting.
Before we let you go,
None of our employees leave till we say so. Later in the evening, I'm finally heading home, surrounded by commuters, feeling alone. Don't come any closer, touch me if you dare. A terrible contagion is spreading everywhere, spreading everywhere. They're closing down the shelter. There's nothing going right. Got no way of knowing where I'll sleep tonight.
we dedicated nurses are doing what we can, dealing with an illness no one understands.
I am feeling hopeless and helpless as a child. We're prey to speculation, rumors running wild. We want information, something we can share. But the terrible contagion spreading everywhere.
I'm Brianna Jackson, your COVID correspondent in Washington. The president says he's doing his best. The American people have no need to worry. It'll all be over in 2 weeks or less.
You tell him, Mr. President, you're my kind of hero. Why believe in science? They got no proof. I'm not giving in to some fake made-up virus. I've done the research. I know the truth.
None of us are guilty and we are all to blame. We only stand united in anger and in pain. There is something broken no one can repair. But the terrible contagion. 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 Spreading everywhere.
It's when people have these opinions about, oh, there is no virus, it's all made up, and I like to respond back and say, well, before you tell me all about viruses, I'd like you to first understand, go look at the speech that the Nobel laureate 1987 won, and we talked about how the immune system worked. I got to actually be at a dinner event where he spoke. This is Tsunono Tanagawa talking about how we only have about 100,000 antibodies trying to fight off millions of attackers, attacking antigens, and how it takes time for the body to work out to figure out how to fight an antigen. So if like vaccines and boosters help us train the body to work faster. So but people have all these opinions that, well, go first look at the facts and find out what, first learn what he learned about the universe before you tell me all about what you think you know. So,
Some
but
people
anyway,
don't
this was
have
wonderfully done.
access.
Yeah.
It's to those great scientists who know what they're talking about.
Mm,
It is sad, and in the musical, I try to show all the sides. It's very, very hard, as people know, to write a villain, and I
mm,
didn't. The villain was the disease itself, but I had a MAGA character who I worked really hard to make sympathetic at the same
mm,
time, and it was interesting doing that, and that was what touched a lot of the students was that nobody was really a bad person.
hmm.
People just had their own, sometimes delusions about the way things were going. And it,
Yeah.
it leads up to a kind of a catastrophe by the end of it, where all of these things come together. And there's an there's an anti-masking, anti-shutdown demonstration where all the characters meet at finally by the end, and some disastrous things happen because of
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate that I think part of the resistance is it's difficult to really want to believe that we are invaded by this plague. I mean, it's basically like the Black Plague, the idea that we are suffering this, or had been, suffering without any solution was a very scary thought. So for some people, they just want to say, this is not real. I don't believe it for a minute. I think they found comfort in that. And so that could be part of it right there. But
it's really,
anyway, not to get too philosophical, we're not going to solve all the Western civilization problems in the next 30 minutes, but 15 minutes, whatever we have left. But this is one show, one episode of it, one act. And then there was another point where you had the woman spoke briefly. She was the press secretary, and she does a wonderful routine that you designed. Let me bring that one up now. And this is what's the title of this? Something like
It's
Staying on
called
Top?
Take Me to the Top, and
Take me to the top.
she's a reporter, and she's also a conservative, and
Hmm.
proudly. And
Yes, yeah.
she's one of the heroines, and she gets to stand up at the end as a member of the White House press corps. She does what a lot of people imagined doing but didn't do in that situation. And she sings this song about her ambition because she comes across in the beginning as a character who has overwhelming ambition, but she makes the right choices in the long run.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, here's the part with the ambition. Oh, wait, I don't think I shared the screen. I'm sorry. There we go.
Food chain to reach her ultimate goal, the White House press corps.
No game for beginners. This world was made for winners. Had to plot and plan to get to where I am. Hard times are behind me. These days you're gonna find me aiming for nothing less. House Press Corps.
Press
On the
corps.
strength of my first Pulitzer Prize, I'll say, please, Mr. President, call on me, Mr. President. Then let him have it right between the eyes. Figuratively speaking.
Take me to the top.
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 Oh, yeah.
Girls are big go-getter.
Take me to the top.
Take me to the top.
Every limitation, there's no way but I'm gonna be a
Big sensation. Sensation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brianna Jackson with the news.
I love it. I actually got goosebumps listening to that. It's just, it's so,
That's Olivia Barone singing,
oh,
performing.
it's very talented.
Yeah,
Very
it was such a thrill working with the students. They were all wonderful. They brought incredible energy, and it's too bad we don't have the version that was actually the show. When we did the full show in December in Harvard Square, there was a complete dance routine with gold lame hats,
Oh
and
my God.
they were like just throwing themselves around the stage. It was just such a great routine.
Oh, I'm
And
hoping somebody videotaped it. No one
yeah,
videotaped that?
there is a private video that I did.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Yeah.
And
I
I'm
just love
hoping, you know,
the
that
whole choral thing.
somebody will want to take the show and do some more productions with it. That one was very successful.
That's
That
great.
was just a very early version. We had band arrangements, and the
Mm.
whole book is there as well. There's a whole story to go with it. But I'm kind of right now looking at the next step. Where do I take the show?
Yeah. I have no idea how that works, but good luck on it. That'd be great. Now, which of these students are yours in terms of the
Only
people up
one of
there?
them was my private student.
Oh, okay.
The others I all met through, this was a class that they
I
took
see.
to create a show with.
These are
And
all Berkeley students, though, right?
yep, they're all
Okay,
Berkeley,
excellent.
pianist, Berkeley student too, who
Excellent.
conducted. It sounds very different when you hear the whole thing with band. It's a lot more
Mm.
energized.
Oh my God, yeah, I can imagine. Well, that accompanist did a great job. The woman that played
Yeah,
the piano there, that was very nice.
yeah.
Now let's talk about an Infinity of Stars demo. You have this demo, and now we have some professional singing here, including you.
Yeah.
Give us a little background on this, and what is this the purpose? Is this a way to promote it? Is that what this is, or is this
This
something?
was a pandemic project. This
Yeah.
was when we were still, in the first year of the pandemic, and I had developed some of the songs and decided that I wanted to do a video, something so that people could see what I was doing, even though
Yeah.
there were no live performances happening anywhere. Everything was still shut down.
Hmm.
And I called a couple of my friends, Will, Cass, and Renee, who ended up directing the students in the show, and
Mm.
just asked them to sing. So we all recorded our parts at home on our cell phones,
Uh-huh.
and we sent the cell phone videos into Doug Hammer, who took the whole
Oh,
thing and produced it and engineered it. But these are basically just cell phone videos that he synced up.
wow.
So
Okay.
everything's recorded live, and it was just really something to let people know that the show was in its early stages. And I
Yes.
can't believe that it actually made it to a complete production. When we did this little video, I had no idea it was going to see a real production.
Oh, wow. That's great. Well, there's a little narration in front of this too, I believe.
In the early morning hours, Abby, the social activist, walks the streets of the deserted city, pondering a hopelessly divided America and grieving for a lifetime of lost causes. Where do we go from here? I heard a blessed word we've said. Try to change the world, and it ends up changing you instead. Hold on to your faith, and still you fall. 1 mile back for every heart, 1 step ahead. So we try and try again. Hopeless dreamers that we are, beyond us an eternity of darkness, but within us an infinity of stars. Where do you go from here with your better angels taking flight? 1 more broken heart searching for some comfort in the night, thinking back on when it all went wrong, and running out of time to put it right. So we try and try again. Hopeless dreamers that we are, beyond us an eternity of darkness, but within us an infinity of stars. So many barricades to defend. Can't help but give up every now and then. We soldier through the pain, lose more than we gain. No guarantee we'll get there in the end. Still we try and try again. Hopeless dreamers that we are, beyond us an eternity of darkness, but within us an infinity of stars. So we fight to our last breath. Foolish, glorious beings that we are, beyond us an eternity of darkness, but within us an infinity of stars.
Bravo. Oh my God. I keep going back to Barbara Streisand. She should be singing this.
I really hope that people pick up some of these songs and record
Oh
them.
my God, that's a gorgeous song. And
Thank
Infinity of
you.
the Stars, just the imagery alone. Of course, having this in the background with Doug helps a lot too, but just wonderful. Tell me, who are your favorite singers? I mean, who have you listened to and you think been influenced by and that sort of thing?
Well, that's hard to say. I mean, a lot of people always say Barbara Streisand. The funny thing is that I did not grow up listening to her.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
respect her highly, but
Yeah.
I never really listened to her. So more growing up, Grace Slick was a big influence, and Jefferson
Hmm.
Airplane. I
Yes.
just sang White Rabbit to death, and
Oh, actually, I have a recording of you singing that somewhere. I
right
forgot to
when
include it tonight. You were at the Hat Shell replaying it
that
there, I
was a
believe.
real thrill to sing
Yeah.
with that with Marty Balin. That was right
Yes.
before he passed away, but he
Oh
he did
my.
all the show, and
Hmm.
that was exciting. That was like a fantasy come true. I
Yeah.
grew up loving Aretha Franklin.
Hmm.
Dionne Warwick was a very big
Oh.
influence.
Oh my God.
Those-
Yeah.
The classic Burt Bacharach records that she
Hmm.
sang on, I just idolized her growing up.
Mm.
And a singer, a folk singer that I adored, Sandy Denny, who not a lot of people know. I mean, in that particular world, she's very famous, but she was a
Yeah. I recognize the
remarkable
name.
singer, a remarkable phraser, just really
Mm-hmm.
intelligent vocalist. And
Mm.
so those would have been the major people I was listening to and being affected by.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we have one last thing, which is wonderfully orchestrated, and with the videography is quite fun. It's a little political though.
Well,
So
this was a lot of these songs were begun right after the election in 2016 when Trump
right.
became president. And I mean,
Hmm.
I apologize if anybody's offended, but I was really horrified. And I decided I would sit down and write a whole bunch of songs just to kind of get out my feelings about it.
Right.
And as I love America, I love this country. I was feeling very, very blue and not particularly red or white and
Yeah.
very unhappy. And so it just occurred to me of, the famous Stars and Stripes Forever, but I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to write a new lyric expressing exactly how I feel? What I didn't realize is that the song is not singable in its arrangement. There's never been a vocal version of it. There was
Huh.
a fantastic guitar version of it by Guy Van Duzer that some people might remember, but I had to take it and I had to introduce some modulations in order to get it within my range. So it was definitely musically doctored a bit to make it work.
Now I'm sorry, which song is this that was doctored?
Is this the Stars and Stripes?
Oh,
Stars and
okay.
Stripes
The actual
for
music itself is difficult to sing to. I didn't realize
yeah.
that.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
well, it's the Stars and Stripes Forever, but I called it the Stars and Stripes Asunder.
It's a shame that we've become so polarized. In fact, I heard a comedian the other day joking about. He said, I wanted to put an American flag out, but I was afraid that would just mean I'm a Republican, so I put out a rainbow flag too, and now they think I'm a gay Republican. So it's just
I
can't
don't
win.
think you can win, but
Can't win.
the musical, the whole idea behind the musical was trying to get people back together.
Yes. Yeah.
It was meant to be a healing thing for all people.
Hmm.
And in the next thing that I'm recording, I'm trying to go with songs in that direction of really just the importance of bringing all kinds of people together to make things go right again.
Yeah. Let's hope we do get there. So now this is a great piece of video work too. Was this a Doug Hammer thing, or who did
No,
this?
this wasn't Doug. I'm trying to remember his name. He had a very funny stage name, which it's probably on the video.
Oh, it might be.
Remarkably
Yeah. Yeah.
talented guy. He was a lot of fun to work with.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's share the screen now. This is a fun one to watch.
Our dreams come true, we've seized the power. America will see its finest hour. Batten down the ivory towers, autocracy triumphs at last. We'll forge a disunited nation, trading on hate and fear. Springtime for Vladimir. Put an end to immigration. Don't want Sharia law here. There'll be no need to share our private air. If they can't breathe what's left, then scream.
drink beer instead. Regulations, we will drive a Mack truck through 'em.
Keep the people entertained, they'll never notice. We made America great for everybody but the 99%ers. Till it's far too late.
Given half a chance, we'll sue the pants off every wacko eco scientist. Do our best to rid the earth of every secret world controlling Zionist. So let's raise a glass to rainforest fires, cockroaches and liars, Wall Street sharks and oligarchs, and climate change deniers. Boys, it's time to come out from the bed sheets you've been hiding under. Our days will be happy and bright in a world that's completely white. Oh, we'll pray away all the gay and the oil from protected lands will thunder. Kill any who stand in our way and pledge allegiance to the stars and stripes asunder. Hey!
Where was that filmed? It was obviously a church. Is that local?
That's
Like
the Universalist church in Medford. It's a
in Medford? I
historic
love it.
church, a
Oh
beautiful
yeah,
church.
that's great.
And they gave me permission, but boy, I forgot how angry I was.
You think it showed through maybe a little bit?
I think it did, but it was a good stress reliever to do it. The direction I'm going in now is a lot more subtle.
Well, it would be funny when you had the three seats up there. I'm thinking it would be interesting to have the far right and the far left, and then have them go at each other. And I don't know where that would go, because right
And
now
the
it's not going
mythical
anywhere. But it'd be
moderates in the
interesting to
middle.
see how can we move in the same direction. I don't know. It's
We just
interesting
used
challenge.
whatever was handy in the church, and we decided those chairs just had to be in it.
Oh my God, that was great. That was wonderful. Well, Didi, thank you so much. This has been a great hour. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the Q&A next. So I'm looking forward to that. And thanks again. We look forward to seeing more. And I hope you get good luck on that production. Maybe someone out there in the audience tonight can help you get there. We'll have to see. So,
Yes, let me know.
so thank you.